Hello everybody, welcome to another WWE Raw highlights video, this time for July 14th, 2025, after a very busy weekend wrestling wise with Evolution, the Great American Bash, and Saturday night's main event. We get what's the aftermath of it. We start off with the Women's World Champion Naomi heading to the ring. She is fired up. Naomi cashed in her Money in the Bank briefcase in the middle of one of the best matches that we have seen in a long time. Pure magic between Rhea Ripley and Io Sky last night at Evolution. The crowd chants to Naomi, the new Women's World Champion, "You deserve it." Naomi says she doesn't want to hear that. They weren't feeling the glow, but they're feeling her now. They're sitting there acting like they knew that was coming. They thought she would cash in on Tiffany Stratton. But no one knows her next move until she makes it. That's why she's standing here as the new Women's World Champion. She's so done with the foolishness going on SmackDown. Naomi tells Bianca Belair to look at this title. She didn't betray Belair. She outgrew her. Belair and Jade Cargill did not want her to succeed. They wanted her to be a flunky as long as it was okay with them. Naomi asked, "Who's got the upper hand now?" And then she cackles. Cargill may have gotten her lick back at Evolution, says Naomi, but she made history. She may be new to Raw, but all those in the back proceed with caution. Then comes Rhea Ripley out furious, and she stares at Naomi and gets in the ring. Naomi looks unimpressed. Naomi is sporting a cut on the bridge of her nose from her match with Jade Cargill last night. A mommy chant picks up from the crowd. Ripley says there is one thing Naomi should know about her. She is not cautious. Ripley is reckless and ticked off. She walked into Evolution with two goals: to finally defeat Io Sky and to reclaim the Women's World Championship. All because of Naomi. She still has those two goals. Naomi has made it onto her list. Io Sky's music hits and the former Women's World Champion heads to the ring. An Io chant picks up. Sky tells Ripley with respect to get in line. She walked into Evolution as the Women's World Champion, so she'll get her title back from Naomi. Naomi says she doesn't understand what Sky just said, but they can put their entitled butts out of her face and get into the back of the line. Ripley steps up to Naomi. Adam Pearce walks out to the stage. He says before this gets out of hand, he wants them to take a breath. He has something to say to all three of them. First, congratulations to the new Women's World Champion, Naomi, and welcome to Monday Night Raw. Last night, she had the biggest moment of her career. That moment came at the expense of Ripley and Sky. And he also complimented Io Sky and Rhea Ripley for their match last night. He said it was incredible. They made magic. He says at SummerSlam he wants all three of them to bring that same magic as It is made official. Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky versus Naomi for the Women's World Championship at SummerSlam, the biggest party of the summer, a 2-night event. Next, we had a segment in the Judgment Day Clubhouse. Finn Balor is holding all the titles that the Judgment Day own. Balor hands Dirty Dominic Mysterio his WWE Intercontinental Championship and said he was keeping it warm for him. Mysterio says he hasn't been able to relax because AJ Styles has been stalking him. Balor says as long as Mysterio has his doctor note, he's untouchable. Balor says they need to give their full support to the biggest winners from the weekend, Raquel and Roxanne. Perez gives all the credit to Raquel Rodriguez. Balor said he's heard about the Kabuki Warriors and is worried. He tells Mysterio to accompany them to the ring tonight. Mysterio asks why he has to. Balor says it's time to show the world their strength. They also need to keep their titles for Liv Morgan. Balor then hands the tag title to JD McDonough. Balor looks at a picture of Liv Morgan and smiles and sarcastically says, "For Liv." Next we have a non-title tag team match. The Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane versus the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, the Judgment Day, Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez, with Dirty Dominic Mysterio, the Intercontinental Champion, being on the outside, accompanying them to the ring this match. Raquel Rodriguez will start the match against Kairi Sane. Sane quickly applies a wrist lock before avoiding a back elbow. Sane hits the ropes and goes for a satellite DDT, but Rodriguez shoves her up and hits a shoulder tackle. Asuka tags in and grabs the arm, but Rodriguez shoves her away. Asuka grabs the arm again, but Rodriguez lifts her. Asuka counters with a sleeper hold. Rodriguez quickly backs her into a corner and Roxanne Perez tags in. Perez hits a head scissor into a side leg sweep for a 1-2 kick out. Perez stands Asuka up and slaps her in the face. Asuka nods her head before getting fired up. Asuka, being the vicious striker she is, punches and kicks away at Perez before kicking her in the face a few times. Sane tags back in. The Kabuki Warriors hit a double team takedown dropkick combo for a 1 count. Sane throws Perez into the corner and chops the chest. Sane hits a running baseball forearm to Perez for a 1-2 kick out. Perez drops Sane on the apron. Sane tries for a sunset flip, but Perez stomps her. Rodriguez tags in, but Sane quickly catches her with an armbar. Perez runs in, but Asuka locks her in an armbar. Rodriguez powers Sane up and powerbombs her onto Asuka. Sane won't let go, so Rodriguez slams her into the ropes. Sane hits a modified stunner on Rodriguez. Perez quickly tags in, so Sane hits an enziguri. Asuka tags in and kicks away at Perez. Perez reverses a whip into the rope, so Asuka hits Rodriguez with her famous hip attack. Asuka then takes Perez down. Asuka kicks Perez in the corner before hitting Rodriguez with a super kick. Asuka hits a knee to Perez before connecting with a Shining Wizard for a 2 count. Asuka wrenches the arms and tags Sane in. Asuka holds Perez, but Perez fights out. Asuka still has her, and Sane hits a double axe handle for a 2 count before Rodriguez breaks it up. Asuka pulls the top rope down to get Rodriguez out of the ring. Asuka tags in. Perez reverses a whip to the corner. Asuka sidesteps her, and Sane tags in. The Kabuki Warriors hit a double team reverse DDT and Sane elbow combo. Mysterio Dominic is distracting the referee, so the count is delayed. 1, 2, Rodriguez pulls Sane out of the ring and attacks her. Asuka fights Rodriguez and sends her into the ring post. Asuka tags him and goes to the top rope for a missile dropkick on Perez. Asuka hits a nasty strike combo followed by a German suplex. Dominic Mysterio gets on the apron again, so Asuka eliminates him with a vicious backhand. Perez rolls Asuka up and Rodriguez pushes against her backside for leverage to get the 1, 2, 3. And your winners by pinfall, the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez. The Kabuki Warriors are ticked off about that result. Next we have a interview. Jackie Redmond is with WWE Hall of Famer Paul Heyman, who is holding Seth Rollins' Money in the Bank briefcase. Bron Breakker and Big Bronson Reed are with him. Raymond mentions that Seth Rollins is in Birmingham to get his injured knee evaluated. Does Heyman have an update? Heyman says he has no info, it's too soon. Seth Rollins has until next June to cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase. Until that happens, he's crashing into that deadline. It's not a relevant subject. What is a relevant subject is that Bron Breakker will run the Gauntlet tonight. Bron Breakker will emerge as the #1 contender to punch his ticket to SummerSlam to become the next World Heavyweight Champion of the world and beat Gunther. Next we have a 2 out of 3 falls match. Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria. The winner faces Becky Lynch for her Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam. We start off as they lock up and Valkyria takes her down with a headlock. Bayley fights up and whips her off, but Valkyria quickly takes her down with a front face lock. Bayley fights up and pushes her off again, but Valkyria grabs her head. Bayley backs her to the corner and puts her on the top rope before patting her on the head, mocking her. Valkyria is not happy. Valkyria hits a pair of arm drags before leapfrogging her and sending her out of the ring. Bayley is very frustrated. Bayley gets in the ring, but Valkyria ducks a clothesline and hits a hip toss. Valkyria mocks Bayley by patting her on her head, so Bayley slaps her in the face and rolls her up 1, 2, 3 for the first fall. Bayley is leading 1-0. Back from the break, Valkyria and Bayley are holding each other by the arms and exchanging strikes. Valkyria connects with a step-up enziguri followed by a pair of clotheslines and some kicks to the face. Valkyria drops her with a spin kick and attempts a tornado DDT, but Bayley blocks it and slides her away. Bayley charges, but Valkyria moves and drops her into the corner. Valkyria hits a tornado DDT followed by a fisherman's buster for a 2 count. Valkyria gets herself fired up and starts to stomp Bayley in the corner. Bayley fights back and whips Valkyria hard into the corner. Valkyria immediately collapses in pain. Bayley smiles as she sees her opening. Bayley attacks the back and picks up a very near fall. Bayley whips her hard in the corner again and Valkyria falls to her knees. Bayley sweeps the feet, but Valkyria kicks her away. Bayley rolls out of the ring. Valkyria holds her back as she hits the ropes and hits a wrecking ball dropkick. Valkyria goes to the apron and pulls Bayley by the hair. Bayley fights back and hits a high ankle back suplex on the apron. Bayley gets in the ring and hits a sweeping sidewalk slam. 1, 2, Valkyria kicks out. Bayley soon attempts a move, but Valkyria counters and sits down on Bayley's shoulders for a roll-up. 1, 2, 3, and the series is tied 1-1. Bayley is furious. Valkyria is struggling to get to her feet. Bayley angrily kicks her in the face for another 2 count. Valkyria hits a dragon screw to Bayley. Bayley quickly sends her to the apron and snaps her off the second rope. Valkyria rolls her up, but Bayley rolls through and knees her in the mouth. Bayley limps towards Valkyria and goes for a whip, but Valkyria stops it. Valkyria elbows out of the Bayley to belly and goes for a monkey flip. Bayley holds her up and turns her onto the top rope. Valkyria knocks Bayley away and jumps, but Bayley counters with a Bayley to belly. 1, 2, Valkyria barely kicks out before 3. The crowd chants, "This is awesome." Bayley heads to the top rope, but Valkyria sweeps her feet. Valkyria climbs to the second rope and goes for a superplex, but Bayley fights her off. Valkyria gets up and attacks Bayley before hitting a sit-out slam off the top rope. Valkyria hits a gnarly gut-wrench sit-out powerbomb that nearly lands Bayley on her head for a near fall. Valkyria holds her head in frustration. Valkyria grabs Bayley's legs, but Bayley kicks her away. Valkyria puts Bayley on the apron, but Bayley pulls her out with her. Bayley goes for a back suplex, but Valkyria holds the ropes. Valkyria grabs the leg and uppercuts the knee joint. Valkyria twists it around the middle rope and connects with a fisherman's suplex on the apron, and Bayley falls to the floor. Valkyria gets to grab her, but Bayley kicks her away and gets in the ring. Valkyria soon gets in the ring and Bayley rolls her up for a 2 count. Valkyria connects with a jackknife cover, but Bayley kicks out. Bayley holds her knee in pain. Bayley charges, but Valkyria twists through the ropes to avoid her. Bayley knocks her to the ground and slaps her leg. Bayley goes to hit a sliding drop kick through the corner, but Valkyria catches her. Bayley kicks her away and hits a sunset flip into the steps. Valkyria's head hits the steel steps hard. Bayley goes to the top rope to connect with a diving elbow drop to Valkyria's bad back. 1, 2, Valkyria kicks out. Bayley immediately transitions into a crossface and pulls back as hard as she can. Valkyria screams in pain and claws at the bottom rope. Bayley kicks the bottom rope away and rolls her back, but Valkyria slips out, hits her finisher, the Nightwing, and pins her. 1, 2, 3, and your winner by pinfall, Lyra Valkyria. Lyra Valkyria is going to SummerSlam and will challenge the man Becky Lynch for the WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion. Valkyria celebrates in the ring as a devastated and dejected Bayley sits at ringside. WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion, the man, Becky Lynch, heads to the ring and gets in Valkyria's face, holding up her championship. Next we have a backstage promo with Karrion Kross saying, "Your favorite bad guys are here to save the day. Where is Sami Zayn? He's hurt." Scarlett says, "Sami is a liar. Kross thinks so too. All this time about who is a coward falls flat. Zayn is nowhere to be seen." Kross says, "My butt." Kross says he gave Zayn an ultimatum he didn't like and he is folded. Kross tells Zayn to stay home and not come back to work until he's ready to say that Kross told the truth. Next we have a match between WWE Hall of Famer Nikki Bella versus Chelsea Green with the Secret Harvest, Alba Fire, and Piper Niven at ringside with her. The bell rings and they lock up. Bella pushes her off and smiles. They lock up again and Bella powers her into the ropes before giving her a clean break. They lock up a third time and Bella whips her away and rolls her up for a one count. Bella takes her down, so Green slaps her in the face. Bella is furious and chases her to the corner. Green gets a cheap shot in and clubs the back. Green sends Bella into the ropes, but Bella hits a head scissor takeover. Bella slaps Green and mocks the salute. Bella connects with a snap suplex, but Green rolls out of the ring to recover with the Secret Harvest, Piper Niven, and Alba Fire step between Bella and Green to keep Bella back. They get into the ring again and Green sends Bella to the corner. Bella elbows her back and climbs her to the middle rope. Green sweeps the feet and hits a backstabber off the ropes. Bella rolls out the ring and holds her neck. Green takes a moment before going outside and driving Bella headfirst into the barricade. Green gets her into the ring and slams her face into the mat for a 1-2 kick out. Green digs her knee into the spine of Bella and pulls back on her head. Bella tries to fight back, but Green slings her down and applies a rear chin lock. Bella fights back and elbows out, but Green pulls her hair. Bella then smashes Green's face off with a knee. Green slowly gets up and charges, but Bella ducks a clothesline and hits a pair of clotheslines. Bella whips her to the corner and hits a corner clothesline. Bella goes to the second rope and hits a flying kick to the skull for a near fall. Green fights back and hits a neck breaker for a 1-2 kick out. Green sets up for the unprettier, but Bella counters into a Bella Buster. Piper Niven gets on the apron to distract the referee. Alba Fire gets on the apron and grabs Bella, but Bella sees it coming and slams her into the ring post and knocks Niven off the apron. Green grabs Bella and goes for the unprettier for a second time. Bella counters out and tries to lift with her, but Green elbows out. Bella lifts her up this time and hits a rack attack for the 1-2-3. And your winner by pinfall, the WWE Hall of Famer, Nikki Bella. After the match, Nikki Bella avalanches Piper Niven avalanches Bella and throws her into Fire for a super kick. Fire then whips Bella into Niven for a boss man slam. The Secret Harvest pulls Green up, but Stephanie Valkyria runs down. Valkyria attacks Fire and gets in the ring to drop kick Niven. Fire rolls in, but Valkyria drops her with a double undercooked facebuster. Valkyria then embraces Bella. Next we have Adam Pearce bumping into the Judgment Day as they're preparing to leave the building. Pearce said Dirty Dominic Mysterio was moving smoothly out there before. Mysterio says it was the adrenaline in his soul. Mysterio produces his doctor's note. Pearce says he called WWE Medical and for Mysterio will be re-evaluated. If he's still not cleared, then he hasn't been cleared. If he is cleared, Pearce will immediately make an Intercontinental Championship match against AJ Styles at SummerSlam. The Judgment Day reassure Mysterio and walk off. Mysterio turns and we see AJ Styles praying before motioning that he has eyes on Mysterio. Mysterio prays to God not to let AJ Styles hurt him. I love those segments. Next we have the World Heavyweight Champion Gunther coming to the ring. Gunther says he's in a great mood this past Saturday. He retired Bill Goldberg. A light Goldberg chant picks up. Gunther says the people here aren't the brightest, but Goldberg isn't here tonight. He's not coming because he kept every promise he made before the match. He bullied, pushed around, blew up, and choked him out to end the myth of Bill Goldberg. A "you tapped out" chant begins to pick up. Gunther has one question: who's next for the ring general? We'll have an answer soon. In the next moment, he'll take a seat in the nice suite, and 5 of the finest competitors in WWE today will compete for his amusement. It will identify who will be the official challenger for the ring general at SummerSlam. Gunther doesn't care about who the winner is. When the bell rings, they're all the same. Bron Breakker heads to the ring with Paul Heyman behind him. Heyman is still carrying Seth Rollins' briefcase. They get in the ring and Heyman looks for a handshake. Gunther refuses. Heyman starts to do his usual introduction, but Gunther cuts him off. Gunther says he's not interested in what Heyman has to say, so he's going to leave. Breakker stands in Gunther's way. Heyman tells him to stick around because it pertains to Gunther. Tonight, Breakker will run the Gauntlet, become #1 contender, and go to SummerSlam to beat Gunther for the title. Heyman says he knows it's not an easy task because he saw what Gunther did to Goldberg on Saturday night's main event. However, Gunther hasn't been speared until he's speared by Bron Breakker. Breakker is the next big thing. Breakker is the next big dog. This is Bron Breakker's yard. Gunther isn't looking at just another contender. He's a Steiner. Heyman says that means he'll break through every barrier that's put in front of him, break through the glass ceiling in WWE, and break Gunther's ass at SummerSlam. There's going to be a new World Heavyweight Champion, a long-term one, and his name is Bron Breakker. Breakker steps aside for Gunther to leave. Gunther still doesn't look impressed as he walks off. A CM Punk chant fires off. Next we have the #1 Contenders Gauntlet match. The first match is Bron Breakker with Paul Heyman versus Penta. The bell rings and Penta starts to clap to get the crowd going. Penta attacks Breakker and stomps away at him in the corner. Penta is fired up before heading back to Breakker. Breakker quickly grabs him and hits a T-bone suplex without leaving his feet. Breakker hits some shoulder thrusts in the corner. Breakker sends him into the ropes, but Penta ducks a clothesline and hits a head scissor takeover. Breakker puts Penta on the apron, but Penta knocks him down. Heads to the top rope and hits a diving crossbody block for a 2 count. Penta puts Breakker against the ropes and chops his chest. Breakker hooks a side headlock, so Penta whips him off. Breakker starts to hit the ropes at a ridiculous speed and runs over Penta with a brutal clothesline. Breakker charges, but Penta pulls the top rope to get him out of the ring. Penta hits a Topo Con Halo as we go to commercial. Back from the break, we see Penta lying on the steel steps while Breakker smiles. Something bad happened right before we came back from the break. Breakker then presses Penta over his head and drops him face first into the steps, which looks like a brutal bump. Breakker gets Penta in the ring and continues to attack. Breakker hits a suplex and covers before rolling him off and doing some push-ups. Breakker puts Penta on the apron, but Penta fights back with some right hands. Penta snaps his neck off the top rope. Penta gets in the ring and Breakker drops him with another T-bone suplex for a 2 count. Breakker applies a rear chin lock before hitting another T-bone suplex. Breakker picks him up and hits the move again. Breakker sets up for a spear, but Penta super kicks him and kicks him in the knee. Penta hits a reverse slingshot. Penta kicks him down and hits a handstand slingshot corner dropkick. Breakker reverses a whip to the corner, but Penta slingshots over him and hits a backstabber on the way down for a 2 count. Gunther looks unimpressed by what he's seeing. Penta goes to the corner and sizes up Breakker. Penta charges, but Breakker knees him in the face. Breakker lifts Penta, but Penta slides off. Penta super kicks him and goes for a springboard, but Breakker hits a devastating spear out of midair for the 1, 2, 3. And Breakker defeats Penta in the Gauntlet match, and Bron Breakker smiles with an evil-looking Heyman lurking in the background as we advance to the next round. Next we have LA Knight getting in the ring and starts to exchange punches with Breakker. Breakker knees him in the midsection and sends him to the corner. Knight pops out of the corner with a clothesline. Knight goes for a suplex, but Breakker blocks it. Knight flips through a suplex and hits a neck breaker. Knight mocks Breakker and stomps him for a 2 count. Knight wrenches the arm and charges, but Breakker sends him out of the ring. Knight quickly attacks him at ringside and drives Breakker's shoulder into the ring post. Breakker attacks him as he gets in the ring and presses him, but Breakker's arm is too hurt. Knight clotheslines Breakker over the top rope and connects with a massive baseball slide. Knight bounces Breakker off the commentary table. Breakker fights back and drives him ribs first into the table. Knight is hurting. Breakker gets him in the ring and continues to attack the ribs. We come back from the break to see Breakker punching away at Knight. Breakker chokes him on the middle rope. Knight fights back with some punches before hitting the ropes, but Breakker turns him inside out with a kitchen sink knee to the midsection for a 2 count. Breakker applies a waistlock as Knight is seated on the canvas. Knight fights his way back up and elbows Breakker in the ear a few times. Knight hits the ropes and they take each other down with a double clothesline. The crowd is really getting into it, chanting, "This is awesome." Knight starts to hit some stinging left jabs, followed by a clothesline. Knight sends him sternum first into the corner and hits a neck breaker before following up with a DDT. Knight goes to the middle rope and does his LA Knight pose and does a double jump diving elbow drop for a 1, 2, 2.9 kick out. Knight goes for blunt force trauma, but Breakker pushes him off. Breakker goes for a hurricanrana, but Knight counters into a powerbomb for a near fall. Knight lifts Breakker, but Breakker punches out. Knight punches back at him and goes for the BFT for a second time, but Breakker rakes his eyes. Breakker hits a double knee gutbuster before going to the corner. Knight stumbles around before Breakker cuts him in half with a spear for the 1, 2, 3. And your winner of the next round is Bron Breakker, as he heads for his third match of the Gauntlet. Next we have main event Jey Uso coming down to the ring to fight Bron Breakker. Bron Breakker gets up holding his ribs as a fresh Jey Uso heads to the ring. Uso starts punching away at Breakker and hits a big right hand with some stuff from the crowd. Uso then clotheslines Breakker over the top rope before hitting a suicide dive. Uso gets in the ring and his music starts playing before doing more yeeting. Back from the break, Uso fights out of a superplex attempt and hits a diving crossbody block for a 2 count. Uso hits a running back elbow followed by a snap kick to the head. Uso crushes him with a running hip attack to the face for a 2 count. Uso goes to the top rope but Breakker cuts him off. Uso fights him off but Breakker scales the ropes and hit his Frankensteiner. 1, 2. Uso kicks out. Breakker sets up a steer before Uso hits him with a super kick. Uso follows it up with a second super kick before hitting a spear of his own. 1, 2. Breakker kicks out. Uso goes to the top rope, but Big Bronson Reed pulls him down before snapping him off the top rope. Breakker quickly hits a spear. 1, 2, 3. And your winner of the third round, Bron Breakker. He beats Jey Uso to advance. Next we have Bron Breakker with Paul Heyman and Big Bronson Reed versus CM Punk. This is the final bout of the Gauntlet match. Bron Breakker is really selling those ribs now. Punk gets in the ring and attacks him before hitting a high knee in the corner and a running bulldog. Punk clotheslines Breakker over the top rope and takes off his ring jacket. Punk hits a side leg sweep for a 2 count. Punk whips him hard into the corner and Breakker falls to the canvas. The crowd lightly chants, "This is awesome." Punk connects it with an inverted atomic drop before going to the top rope. Breakker catches him attempting a diving axe handle and hits a T-bone suplex. Breakker shoulders Punk in the corner before hitting a running knee to the face. Breakker mocks the CM Punk chants. Breakker then mocks the clobbering time taunt. Breakker grabs the legs and hits a guillotine catapult into the bottom rope. Breakker hits another T-bone suplex and he has slowed the pace of the match down. Heyman and Reed look pretty happy. Breakker connects with a vertical suplex and says easy. Breakker covers for a 1 count. Breakker applies a rear chinlock, but Punk fights up and elbows out. Punk goes for to go to sleep, but Breakker slides off and hits a rib breaker for a 2 count. Breakker continues to talk trash. Breakker sends him to the opposite corner, but Punk boots him back and goes to the second rope. Breakker catches him with a Frankensteiner, but Punk rolls through and picks up a near fall. A CM Punk chant picks up. Punk rocks Breakker with a knee to the face and falls to the match. Both men are down. They slowly get up and exchange right hands, exhausted. Punk sends him into the ropes and hits a jumping calf knee. Punk follows it up with a swinging neck breaker before hitting a running knee in the corner. Punk follows it up with a short arm clothesline. Punk goes to the top rope, but Reed jumps onto the apron. Punk kicks Reed away and hits Breakker with the Macho Man elbow drop. 1, 2, kick out. Breakker kicks out, but Punk immediately transitions into a Anaconda Vice. Reed gets in the ring and breaks up the move with a elbow drop. Reed signals for the end, but Jey Uso runs down for the save. Uso punches away at Reed and super kicks him out of the ring before hitting a suicide dive. In the ring, Breakker signals for the end. Punk kicks him in the face as he attempts his spear. Punk hits the GPS and covers him for the 1, 2, 3. And your winner of the match and facing Gunther for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam is CM Punk. CM Punk celebrates and points to Gunther in the suite. Gunther holds up his World Heavyweight Championship. Bronson Reed then avalanches Punk from behind. Uso runs in to fight Reed off. Uso punches him against the ropes until Breakker takes him out with a spear. Reed holds Punk up and Breakker hits him with a spear. Paul Heyman stands on the apron and directs the traffic. They stack Uso and Punk up. Reed heads to the top rope until the OTC Roman Reigns returns. He gets a huge ovation as he hits the ring and takes Reed out with a Superman punch. Reed takes Breakker down and punches him away. Reed pulls Reigns off, but Reigns lifts him for a massive Samoan drop. Reigns takes Breakker out with a Superman punch before sizing Reed up. Reed slowly gets up and stumbles around. Reigns drops Reed with a massive spear. The crowd loudly chants OTC. This is Reigns' first appearance since the Raw after WrestleMania, when he was attacked by Breakker, who was joining forces with Seth Rollins. Reigns helps his cousin, the Yeet Man, Jey Uso, to his feet. CM Punk looks over at Reigns and gets to his feet. The crowd is loudly singing Reigns' name. This is incredible reaction in Birmingham. Reigns points at Heyman, who was in the aisleway with Breakker and Reed. Breakker looks terrified. And that's how Monday Night Raw ends, with the return of the Tribal Chief, the OTC, Roman Reigns. Acknowledge him. But that's it for this episode and highlights for Monday Night Raw. Everybody have a wonderful morning, noon, night, whatever it is for you. I would give this episode an 8 out of 10. Welcome back, Roman. Take care, everybody. Peace.